a lot of questions this afternoon after a 17-year-old was arrested in connection to an armed robbery in Duluth's Lincoln Park neighborhood. Around 8 last night, Duluth police responded to Lincoln Park near the playground on a report of a person with a gun. Police say their initial investigation shows two people who knew each other were meeting up to sell an item. And while at the meetup location, police say a suspect tried to rob the victim at gunpoint. The suspect drove off and was later located by Minnesota State Patrol. Police also say a 17-year-old boy was arrested for aiding and abetting attempted robbery. We're working to confirm how the 17-year-old is allegedly connected to the incident or if the suspect was involved in the original sale. Police say they can't release any more details right now as they continue investigating.